Hi guys, welcome to my video Triathlon Wetsuit Fitting, how to put on and take off your wetsuit fast. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Bjorn Luddick. I'm a full-time triathlon coach based in Middleton, County Cork, and welcome to my video Triathlon Wetsuit Fitting. How to put on and how to take off your wetsuit fast. And what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to take you through a few tips as well, how to keep your wetsuit in tip-top shape, things to use if you do get a tear, what wetsuit to buy for you that suits your swimming style, where to buy, and all these good things, okay? So stay tuned all the way through the video and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so there's a lot of different wetsuits that you can buy. You can buy a surfing wetsuit and you can buy a triathlon wetsuit. So the difference between the two is a surfing wetsuit is there to keep you nice and warm, where a triathlon wetsuit is there to keep you buoyant and to make you go fast with flexibility through the water. They range from a lot of different thicknesses, so you have from 1 mil all the way up to 5 mil, in some cases even 7 mil if you go to Antarctica and you do swimming there. So the surf wetsuits, like I said, is made to keep you warm. There's not a lot of flexibility and you're kind of restricted when you are swimming. When it comes down to your triathlon wetsuit, they are made to make you go fast through the water. Okay, so they're not there to last you a long time if you don't look after your wetsuit, but I'm going to talk you through exactly what to do when you finish with the swim as well, to keep your wetsuit for a nice long time because they are expensive. Okay, so let's say you want to buy a wetsuit. Where to go, what wetsuit to buy. Here's a few tips for you to do. If you have a local triathlon shop or a bike shop and they do sell wetsuits, ask them if you can actually try on a few different wetsuits. Try for a few demo suits. Some of the companies actually do give out demo suits for you to try out. If you like it, buy it. Okay, so you can buy it in the shop. I would prefer buying it local, buy it in the shop, support the local businesses, or you can go online, whereby it may be a little bit cheap, but if you have any issues with the wetsuit, if it tears or if it's too big or too small, you have to pay the shipment over back again, okay? So it's good to have a face-to-face with a person when you are buying your wetsuit. If there's an issue, you can just go to the shop and they can sort it out and they can possibly give you a new wetsuit there and then as well. So what wetsuit to buy? It's very difficult because there's so many different wetsuits out there. So a lot of different brands, what they stand for, what exactly swimmers go for. The differences between the wetsuits is flexibility and buoyancy in different areas throughout the wetsuit. What I would suggest you do is try and go for a video analysis and see what kind of swimmer you are. If your legs are dropping very fast when you're swimming, I would suggest getting a wetsuit that has more buoyancy on the legs. If you come from a swimming background, I would say more flexibility in the shoulders and in the legs as well. So have a look, do your video analysis and see exactly what fits you. Try on a lot of different brands of wetsuit. There's no wetsuit that's the best brand because different wetsuits give different things. Now remember that the most expensive wetsuit is not the best wetsuit for you. So if you look at the big companies, they would sponsor all the big athletes and they have the top of the range wetsuits, but if you have that wetsuit on you and your legs are dropping a lot, it may not suit your swimming style. So it may have a lot of flexibility, but your legs are just going to drop because you don't have the buoyancy on the legs. So shop around, know what you're looking for, and see if there's any of those wetsuits that you can try out, swim with them, and then buy one that suits you. I had an athlete before whereby she was using all the most expensive wetsuits, and when she actually started looking into specific wetsuits that suits her swimming style, she had a mid-range kind of wetsuit and it actually made her swimming faster, over 100 meters by 2 or 3 seconds. So one thing that I find, if you have a really good proper fitting wetsuit, it can range from between 2 or 3 seconds per 100 and sometimes even up to 10 seconds faster. So if you have a really good proper fitting wetsuit that suits your swimming style, the range of improvement is huge. You know, so when I buy a wetsuit, 2 or 3 seconds per 100 meters is really good for me. But some people, if they have the legs coming up and a really well proper fitting wetsuit, it can go up to 10 seconds per 100 meters. It can make a huge difference. So take your time, do your research, and then buy the one that suits you. Okay guys, so this is my wetsuit. I have a Blue 70 Helix. This is not a sponsored post. This is the wetsuit that I find works best for me. A lot of flexibility in the upper body and not a lot of buoyancy in the legs, but that's what I need because I come from a swimming background. So if I was from a cycling or a running background, I would probably need a different wetsuit. But this one, I've gone through about 7 or 8 wetsuits over my time, and this one fits the best. The really good fitting wetsuit that suits my swimming style, and it's nice and snug as well. What I normally do is I have a plastic bag putting on my wetsuit because sometimes the wetsuit may be a little bit wet inside. So I take my hands and my feet and I put it over, and it slides straight through the legs and through the arms. So I'm going to show you guys what to do, okay? Okay, so one thing that I have to say is when you fit your wetsuit, make sure that your nails are very short, because otherwise, if they are very long, you're actually going to tear your wetsuit and it's very expensive. If you do tear your wetsuit, I'm going to put a link below where you can actually buy, I think it's called wetsuit glue. You can have a look at one of those, get it shipped over from Amazon. It's not too expensive, maybe 10 or 15 euros or something like that. But it really does help keeping the wetsuit in tip-top shape, because if you start getting a hole in the wetsuit, you can let a lot of water in when you are swimming. So if you can fix that or glue it together while it's still very small, your wetsuit will last for a lot longer. Okay, so the first part, what I normally do is I try and get my legs up to about halfway up my shin, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get more range of motion in my torso. So if my wetsuit's too far down, it'll pull everything down, it'll be very restricting in the upper body. And that's exactly the same as when I use my arms. When I put my hand through these guys over here, I put them through and I try and have them up to about halfway up my forearm. But I'll explain exactly when we get there, okay? So I'm going to use the bag and I'm going to show you exactly what I do with the bag. If the wetsuit's very wet, take the bag, put it through, and on it goes. Same on the other side. Put it through, and pull out the bag. Okay, so when I get to about halfway up my forearm, I slowly but surely work the wetsuit up onto the shoulders, exactly the same as on the legs as well. Pull it all the way up. One thing that you have to remember is if there's areas of air throughout the wetsuit, it'll actually let water in, okay? So pockets, so normally there's pockets between the legs and under the arms. So when you have your wetsuit zipper zipped up, try and do a few arm stretches, maybe a few lunges to make sure there's no pockets between the legs and under the arms, okay? So again, I try and pull the wetsuit as much as I can up the torso so there's more area for my breathing and for flexibility. Okay, so now when it comes down to the zipper, you can have a zipper that goes from the top all the way down, or you get a zipper that goes from the bottom to the top. So this one is a top to bottom wetsuit. Try and make sure that you'll be able to fit your wetsuit and put your zipper up or down on your own, because maybe there won't be a person that can help you on race day. If you do your open water swim, and you are swimming and your shoulder starts paining, or you feel that there's a lot of fatigue in your shoulders, it may mean the wetsuit's a little bit too far down the torso. So again, try and pull them up, put it up, like this, creases in the shoulders, okay, again for range of movement. Now what I normally do is I take baby oil on my arms and in my shins and Vaseline around the neck. So that's what I use, and I'm happy with that. Some of the wetsuit manufacturers would recommend a specific product. Now go onto their website and see what they recommend, because maybe these, the Vaseline and the baby oil will do something to the neoprene on the wetsuit. Okay, so if you want to keep your guarantee and stuff like that, read up on it and it'll explain exactly what they would recommend. Okay, so when it comes down to the rope again, so my rope is on the bottom over here. What I do is I attach it to the bottom, or I attach it to the top over here, and I put the little part over the rope. So when I'm swimming with my hat and goggles, I'm running and I'm swimming. When I stand up on my way to T1, I know exactly where my rope is, pull it off, and I start pulling it up. Okay? Now if your rope is at the top, so if your rope stops at the top over there, what I normally do is, on my hat and goggles, I put my rope under my hat and goggles. So when I'm running to my T1, take my hat and goggles off with the one hand, the other hand has the rope. As my hat and goggles goes off, I just pull the rope and it goes all the way down. Let's show you. Okay, so I'm finished with my swim. I have my goggles on and I'm running to T1, okay? So my rope is attached here as I'm running because I'm pulling my rope up. If I had a rope that was on the top here, I would actually put this rope under my hat and goggles. So as I'm running to T1, I have this in one hand, hat and goggle in the other hand, start pulling it up and opening up my wetsuit. Then from there, I would keep my hands on my hat and goggles as I'm pulling down my wetsuit. I do some magic where I leave my hat and goggles in my sleeve so I don't lose them and I don't have to worry about them again. Then from there, that goes off there and I'm running to T1. Now one thing that I forgot to mention is watches. So again, you have your wetsuit in the mids of your forearms. I do not have my wetsuit over my watch because as I'm swimming, the water is going to go into my wetsuit, and then that's one of the reasons as well is my wetsuit on my forearms there. When I'm swimming, it limits the amount of water that goes into my wetsuit as well. Right? Then from there, as I'm running to T1, I'm running to my bike. As I am getting to my bike, the first thing I do, pull my wetsuit all the way down. All the way down. Push it down. When I'm in this position over here, I start grabbing my helmet, put my helmet on as I'm doing this. Helmet on, clip, take my bike, and I'm off. Okay, so as I said, this is a very expensive piece of equipment. Okay, now what I always say is when you are finished with your triathlon and you get home, rinse it off with lukewarm water and leave it out to dry. Make sure that it's dry. Okay, leave it in a warm area, maybe in the warmest room in your house. If you can, leave it outside, let the warm air go through it, and then it's nice and dry, and the next time you use your wetsuit, it's going to be ready for you to use. Okay, if you leave the salt on the wetsuit, it'll actually make the neoprene tear. And you don't want the neoprene to tear. Because if it does tear, you're in trouble. Loads of water goes in and you have to buy a new wetsuit. Well, listen guys, thank you very much. I hope you got something out of this video. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Remember to subscribe, like this video, press the notification button as well. There's going to be a load more videos coming up. Thank you very much, and I will see you around. See you later. Bye bye.